Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Sit properly. Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we're going to read from Gita. Everyone got a Gita there? Everyone got one? There's some here if you can. Running a special deal, no obligation, free trial this evening on the Bhagavad-gita. Try before you buy. What are we doing? I want to do this verse. I think it's in the 12th chapter. Yeah. We don't need them on probably at all. So this is chapter 9, text 22. Can you pause that? You can hear that chanting, that Prabhupada's chanting. Just pause that on that phone there. Just hit the pause button. So chapter 9, verse 22. We got a second mic for the audience people? Oh, perfect. Awesome. Okay, 922. Everyone got it? Page 402. Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. I just take a moment here. We'll keep chanting this verse, but I just want to point out that when there's a long a stroke above the vowel in the Sanskrit in transliteration, it means that syllable is twice as long, and also it means there's a bit of a stress on that syllable. And if you do that, you'll find actually the chanting becomes easier because the rhythm becomes very clear of what it is. So, especially the second line. So I'll show the second line, right? And just have a look. Where is this tesham? That A has a long A. You see that? Right? And then the nitya has a long A, and then there's a long A in that. So just see, if we put a stress on that, you'll see that this rhythm becomes very clear, right? Tesham nityabhiyuktanam. See that? Instead of just going tesham nityabhiyuktanam, like it kind of is not clear, whereas tesham, like if there's a stress on the second syllable, it's not going to be tesham, it's going to be tesham. The stress is on the long one. So tesham nityabhiyuktanam, nityabhiyuktanam. See that the second A is strong. It's not nityabhiyuktanam, it's nityabhiyuktanam. See that? So no worries. All right, someone else want to have a go? That was good. It's a bit tricky on the first look. I sprung it on you. I should have. I should give you a warning, right? Which verse it's going to be. That'd be fairer, but. Do you want to have a go? And the C. Sorry to interrupt. That's all right. The C is a ch sound, like chair. And the CH is ch, like it's a ch sound together. So if it's just a C, it's ch. Ananyas chintayanto. The k sound would be a K, like Krishna or Karanam. Yeah. You're right, go on. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Good. Ye jana paryupasate. Very good. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. Now that's something we don't normally see in English, a k with a sh sound. But it's fairly common, kshatriya, right? That word kshatriya you would have heard, k, sh. So it's also here, kshet, or kshetra, kuru kshetra, right? Where the Bhagavad-gita was actually spoken, on the kuru kshetra. But for English speakers it's unusual, isn't it? So that yoga kshemam, k, sh, kshemam. Yoga kshemam bahami aham. That was good. Somebody else want to have a go? Yeah, you guys are doing great. Anybody? Oh, come on, let's have a go. Have a go. If you want to, you don't have to. Ananyas chintayat. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. All right, word for word. Ananya, having no other object. Chintayantaha, concentrating. Mam, on me. Ye, those who. Janaha, persons. Parya upasate, properly worship. Tesham, of them. Nitya, always. Abhiyuktanam, fixed in devotion. Yoga, requirements. Kshemam, protection. Vahami, carry. Aham, I. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Hare Krishna. No, I wasn't looking, I was thinking of something. I was just, somebody that I was in this course with, and they were criticizing how, like, Prabhupada's and ISKCON, they didn't even know Prabhupada was translating Gita in such a way, they added this word. I was just thinking, I just overcome with me how unfortunate they are, because they were saying, oh, it doesn't say that, whatever, but Prabhupada's giving the import of the Gita, like he's a pure devotee, he knows Krishna, and this is actually what Krishna is saying. Not that it's difference, but he's opening it up, So anyway, it's very unfortunate the people to criticize a pure devotee. Okay, so let's break this apart. Okay, so please repeat. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Okay, so somebody want to start reading the purport? You want to, can start? Yeah, we can read this a short purport actually. So let's just read, say, 3 or 4 lines each, whatever, a few sentences, then we can all read a little bit.
One who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day. being engaged in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord.
Such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies, which make the devotee perfect in self-realization, so that his only desire is to achieve the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee undoubtedly approaches the Lord without difficulty. This is called yoga. By the mercy of the Lord, such a devotee never comes back to this material condition of life.
Kshema refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. The Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable conditioned life.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. I was just hearing a lecture. I'll just chat. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gan Anjana Shlakaya Chakshur Militam Dena Tesmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual masters are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my most humble respects, full obeisances unto them. So recently I was listening to a class and they were saying how Srila Prabhupada was saying that he was saying that I will never fall down. Prabhupada was saying that I will never fall down into Maya. And then the devotees were asking him why that was, something like that. I don't remember the exact conversation, but essentially the point was that I think it was the next day or something, they could hear Prabhupada was praying to the deity. Prabhupada was praying to the deity, to Krishna, that please protect me from Maya, please protect me from illusion. And the devotee said, but Prabhupada, yesterday they said you can never fall down. He said, yeah, this is why I can never fall down. Right? Because I am always praying to Krishna. So this is very, very instructive, that this is the situation of a pure devotee. Now, we, from our material perspective, we are used to thinking in illusion that our activities are due to our own strength. What's the verse that says that? I am the car. What is that? Prakrite kriyamanani gune kamani savasha ahankara vimudatma kat aham iti manyate. Ahamkar. This false ego makes the conditioned souls thinking that I'm actually doing this, I'm doing that activity. But Krishna says in the Gita that this is actually an illusion, right? Why is it an illusion? Because what is the potency of the spirit soul? 1/10,000th part the tip of a hair. Like take a hair, break that into 100 pieces, break that into 100 pieces, something like that. It gives some idea of how tiny and insignificant the soul is. So what potencies does the soul have to, lift things and make things happen and influence people, whatever? None. Practically no potency. So whatever we're doing in this world is being done by the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, His energies. And due to our desire, we learned that verse last week, right? Remember that verse? We're associating with different modes, right? Karanam guna sangasha. The cause is we're associating. So we're an infinitesimal, tiny spiritual spark, but we associate with certain modes, and therefore we give some influence. The super soul, says yes, you can do that. But ultimately, we don't actually have the potency to do anything really. Ultimately, now we have given it; it's on loan, right? It's on loan. We can do something, but it's always conditional, right? It's ultimately God is there. If God pulls away, if the energy is pulled away, suddenly we get some gangrene in our arm or something, we can't do anything. We kick our toe and then suddenly we can't walk. Like, we're so fragile, but we're thinking, no, we're doing so many things. So this is our situation. So when we hear that the pure devotee can never fall down, the pure devotees are doing this amazing thing, that amazing thing, we naturally, because of our way of looking at the world, we naturally think, oh, they must be like us, but just more. They also are like, struggling to influence the world and whatever, but they're more successful at it. But Prabhupada's giving us the insight that it's not exactly like that. They're actually feeling more helpless. And because they're feeling more helpless, they're continually taking shelter of the Lord, always, therefore they never get affected. Right? That's that verse. What is it? Prakriti krimanani gune kamani savasha ahankara vimudatma. So the vimuda, the ass-like person, the muda, he's thinking that he's the doer. So that is we heard last Balaram's Pranima, we were talking about this Dhenukasura, is the ass demon, right? That's what he was. He was ass-like because he was thinking he was the one doing it. By his effort, everything was going on. But the pure devotee, he's realizing that the strength is in always remembering Krishna, always remembering God, being connected, right? So in this verse, that formula is given, right? Who always, this is a really nice verse to learn the Sanskrit for. You can really meditate on. Ananyas chintayanto mam, having no other object. Yejana paripasate, concentrating, always. They always worship me. Yejana paripasate, tesham nityabhyuktanam yoga. So Krishna is protecting those who are always meditating on Him, or always thinking about Him. Now, we may not be on that level to be thinking of Krishna in the forests of Vrindavan with all the residents in Vrindavan. We're not on that level, but we can somehow or another connect what we're doing to think about Krishna. This is the secret, right? This is the secret of Bhakti Yoga. Because otherwise, if we're sweeping the floor, or we're doing this service, or doing whatever, then where's the connection, right? Where's the connection to Krishna? Now, of course, if we're in this atmosphere, we're getting some benefit. But if what's being described here is Krishna saying, Ananyas chintayanto mam. Chinta just means to think of. That we get Krishna's protection when we're constantly thinking of Him. Right? It's not a mechanical process. Right? So, like, material things are mechanical, right? You have a ton of sand, and in your shovel you have 2 kilos, and if you keep doing 2 kilos, eventually after 500 lots of 2 kilos, is it? You'll have a ton. It's a mechanical process, material things. But Krishna is making the point again and again and again in Gita that it's personal. It's a personal connection with God. That's why Bhakti Yoga is at once the easiest and most simple and the most powerful, and at once the most difficult. Right? It's easy for the simple-hearted. If you can come to that level as, yes, okay, I'm not the all in all, I'm not everything. This knowledge, the Bhagavad-gita, what is given, just this one book, okay, forget everything else, just this one book is way more knowledge than I've ever learnt on my own or from anyone else. So let me try to understand and try to work with this knowledge, then we can quickly make so much advancement. But if we and obviously all of us here, we have that idea, yeah, let's try bhakti, let's try to do this, that this is the essence of bhakti, is Krishna consciousness, is ananyas chintayanto mam. So let's all meditate, because it's all very well to hear that, right? But then it comes, okay, how do we think of Krishna? How are we going to think about Krishna? He gives different strategies. So, I think I've talked enough. Let's take the microphone, and can everybody... you guys have got one there. So you understand the question, right? How are we going to connect our mind to Krishna? We're not in Goloka Vrindavan, in case you didn't notice. Right? We're suffering this world, we have our mind and senses. So we can't just always think, we don't have that experience. Or, we have had it, according to Shastra, but a long, long time ago, billions and billions of life, practically kalpas. So how are we going to remember Krishna? How are we going to do this, what Krishna is talking about? Because we want his protection, that's the thing. Daivihi Gunamaya Mama Maya Duratya. Was that class I was hearing this morning that I'll think of it in a sec. But let's all think about how are we going to come to this level. To get Krishna's protection, he's saying, you have to be able to think of me continually. How are we going to think about Krishna while we have to do all the duties that we have to do in this world? So just have a think about that. And can anyone share? Tom's got something?
Is it not because Lord Chaitanya brought the, he taught us how to do that by chanting his name constantly as one of the methods?
Yeah, that's a good method. Is it possible to chant Hare Krishna and not be thinking about Krishna?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a good method, and really it's the ultimate method, isn't it? There's such a nice part of Chaitanya Charitamrita where Raghunath Das Goswami is asking Lord Chaitanya, he says, how do I chant? How do I become advanced? Lord Chaitanya says, you chant continually. He says, well, how do I chant continually? He says, you be very, very humble, more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree like that. And he says, but how do I become humble? Is chant continually. So if we're always chanting Hare Krishna mantra, then we can't, because just even if we're not thinking about Krishna, that name is Krishna, Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, it's the form of Krishna. So just by chanting, we'll feel that humility, because it will be a connection with higher power. This is divinity, this divine sound, and we're feeling that. And if we're not chanting, then very easily we can think, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, this is my plan, this is what I have to do, whatever. We get into material consciousness. So yes, chanting is very good. But also we can also chant, offensively without thinking about Krishna. So then we have to also address that. Yep. What do we got?
I've just been imagining him around the farm.
Yes.
Next to the cows and...
Okay.
Yeah, that's been working for me.
Cool. Can you tell us more?
Just like him playing his flute next to the cows and just him just chilling out and relaxing. And yeah, it's been really good.
Among chillaxers, I am Krishna.
And like when I'm walking somewhere, I realize that Krishna's actually underneath holding us all up.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've gone. I'm just going to analyze that a little bit. So you've got two aspects. One is Bhagavan, Krishna himself with the cows, and this is New Govardhan. So you're thinking the pure devotees manifested Govardhan here. This is New Govardhan. So Krishna is surely manifest here. Of course, he's here in the deities, here in the kirtan, he's here in the prasadam, everything. But you're seeing that personally, right? And then the second one is his energy. It's like Paramatma. He's supporting everything by his energies, right?
Yeah.
So there's two different ways. Very good.
And then also baby Krishna when I'm meditating and focusing. Yeah, I'm trying to picture baby Krishna.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Any particular reason you
Just
picturing
to-
baby Krishna?
Just to like as a father, just kind of caring.
Nice.
Yeah. I just
Wonderful.
find I can love Krishna more as like a father. Yeah.
Very nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Excellent. Very well. Yeah, so if you're doing that, like just imagine the difference in consciousness, the difference in how much advancement in bhakti you're making if you're just like in the fields. Compare like no Krishna consciousness basically is you're just here in the fields like, I just have to do this, pick up the cow, whatever, because I have to pay for my rent here. Like you're just totally not Krishna conscious, basically. Compared to like you're doing that service, you're in the field, you see the cows, you imagine Krishna's there, thinking, "Wow, I'm assisting with this Krishna's pastime here in New Govardhan." Like huge difference, isn't it, when you think about it? And imagine doing that level of Krishna consciousness. Imagine doing that for a year. 5 years, 10 years. Imagine it doing it for 20 years. Imagine after our thoughts crystallize. In other words, our thoughts become solid. They become our character, right? So imagine if we keep that meditation and we meditate on Krishna and with the cows and like we do that, a whole lifetime. That's just what Krishna is saying. That's how he says that verse, you merge into transcendence, because it becomes real. Then you'll see Krishna. You'll actually see him. But yeah, wonderful. Very nice. Hare Krishna. Huh? Okay, yes.
If you have time.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Do you have time is the question. Good. We both have time. And Krishna's there. He has
So
time.
your question to us, can you please repeat it?
How practically can we think about Krishna like this verse is saying? Always think about me, Krishna is saying, and then I'll always protect you. So what are the practical strategies we can do to be able to always think about Krishna, to keep that connection somehow or another? What are the different ways of doing it? Can you put it a little bit closer? Yep.
Well, I was sort of reading the purport just before while you were speaking, and it pretty much lists the nine
Yeah.
processes of devotional service.
Yeah.
And I was just contemplating, like, does it have to look the same for everyone? And I personally don't think it does, because the way, I've also heard this sort of quote or statement, a really nice reminder to not judge people on their actions. Like you can't, like we only know ourselves by our intentions, but we judge other people by their actions, And so someone could look like they're doing something that may be not to a certain standard, yet you don't know, they could be thinking of Krishna, or they could be having that intention in their heart, even though it might be, perhaps if you look at it objectively, it's like, oh well, they're in a lower sort of space in existence, but they could.
What's an example?
Perhaps like different kinds of jobs that people have to work in so they can pay their rent and have a home and feed themselves, things like that. Or more, something I actually think of a lot is in shopping malls, how there's just these tiny little boxes just right next to each other, and they're all so closed off. There's no windows, you don't get to be outside, you're just there and you have to do your job, and they've applied for that, and that's what they have to do to keep themselves, alive.
But they could be thinking about Krishna the whole time. Yeah, definitely.
So I was contemplating that while reading the
it's very
purport.
nice. It's a really nice meditation just on that, to think about how Krishna, he, like, you can't hide from anything from Krishna, so why bother? Because Krishna sees everything. Like, he sees what we're thinking, feeling, and everything. There was a whole seminar given by Urmila Devidasi, which is just such a wonderful seminar. Highly recommend it at some stage if you have time. And it's a seminar on Raghunath Das Goswami's Mana Shiksha. Now, that book is quite an advanced book, but the seminar I think anybody could listen to, right from the beginning. Of course, we focus on Bhagavad-gita and those things in the beginning, but this particular seminar, she talks about, one thing she says in there, and she says, this could revolutionize your whole spiritual life. And what she says is that we often do things, we often treat a person in such a way so that somebody else can see. Like there'll be 3 people or whatever, just think there's so many situations we are in life, and we're acting a certain way with a person so that, another person who's watching thinks, yeah, that's right. Whether it's like, example, say we're working in the shopping mall or something, and we're treating the customer a certain way because the boss there watching, like that. But we do that plenty of other times. But she said, and sometimes we bring that, or many times, I think in my case, we bring it into Krishna consciousness, where we treat Krishna a certain way when other people are watching. Okay, it's in the temple, and I'm leading the kirtan, or I'm chanting the verse, or I'm doing the Tulsi Puja, or whatever. Everybody's watching. So, okay, now it's important. So we treat Krishna in a certain way while other people are watching. But she said, just flip it. She said, just treat other people as if Krishna is watching. So beautiful, like super deep meditation. At least I feel like this is that's really, pretty much all you have to do. Just live your life as if Krishna is watching. And the reason it's so powerful, one of the reasons, is that it's actually in touch with reality. Because God is the only one who's actually watching. And He's the only one who actually knows what's going on. And this is a very good point. We don't know. We see, somebody's doing this, they're working that job, or how, whatever the thing is. But Krishna knows. So if we just treat everyone as if Krishna is watching, if we just flip that thing instead of, then it's a really nice meditation. Yeah. And I think your point is really good. The more you go on, you realize, like, what is even the point of trying to analyze what other people are doing or where they're at or whatever? Obviously, if somebody's sitting there, chewing on a chicken and drinking and whatever, like, it's kind of obvious, like, it's not judgy, it's just like, okay, that's where they're at, whatever. Like, we're not blind, we can see, that's fine. But in terms of, like, trying to really understand people and whatever, we have to just really focus on ourselves, It's a science of self-realization, right? Not the science of the other guy realization. It just really doesn't help much. When we're in some situation, if we're looking after other people, and like children, or if we're heading a preaching program or something, then obviously, but that just naturally happens.
Yeah, totally. I also I think it's also said in the Gita as well, I can't remember it specifically, sorry, but you can also approach God in the different modes as well. Is that right? So it I sort of elaborate more on what I said before, how, you can see someone and they might be eating meat or in those lower vibrational states, and you don't know their intention. They could be thinking of Krishna, but externally, sure, it's when you have the knowledge, you can see, sure, okay, it's in a lower vibrational state, but they're still approaching God. It's just from the different modes. Yeah,
and that's really, what Jesus said, hate the sin, not the sinner, That's kind of what I really meant to say then, was that if they're doing those things, then we see those activities they're in the modes of ignorance and passion. But it doesn't mean the person, like that even Prabhupada said, that the Pope is going to make spiritual advancement because he's doing God's work. Now he's also, apparently his favourite food is some total non-veg thing. It's pretty gross. I won't even say what it is here. But so he, is fully into meeting, and then the Catholic Church, so much they drink and everything. But in answer to the question, then they're not really, I wouldn't say necessarily they're approaching God through the modes. It's just that they're approaching God. That's a total separate thing. They're approaching God. And at the same time, they have these other habits that they're doing. And that's not, So it's like us, we're the same. We're not pure devotees. So if we're not pure devotees, there's some impurity there, right? So there's some part of it that's sincere. We want to be devotees of God. We want to. There's a part that's sincere, and then there's another part that we still are interested in the material world. We've been here for millions of lives. We're attached to that. It's a habit. Yeah. So that's mixed. So exactly that. And that's why I think we said that verse last week. No, that was in the class, on Saturday. And Ikshvaku asked that question about, what do you do when people are talking Prabhupada sometimes said, worship God in any way, doesn't matter. And then sometimes he was saying, no, Krishna consciousness is the best way. There's that verse, don't disturb people's minds, don't try to, change everything overnight. Just somehow give them an experience or engage them in devotion. Get them to take some prasadam, or if they're more, open, give them a little bit of just a little nugget of philosophy or something, just a little something wow, oh yeah, that's in Bhagavad-gita. And they're like, oh wow. Just kind of pique their interest. But don't worry about this thing. Rupa Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Rupa Nugas, we're all called. He's got a verse, Yasya Harish, I can't remember the Sanskrit, but says basically the rules and regulations can come later. That's not the important bit. The important bit is to engage in service. This is what Krishna is saying here too, right? Think about him, think about God. If it's not Krishna, think about God. Okay, your temporary body is going to end at some time, but you're a soul. So what's the relationship of the soul? What is that? Isn't that important? We know the body's going to die. We know these material relations aren't going to be there. We have our duty, we have to look after our parents, our children, everything, that's fine. We can't be impious, we can't be immoral, but ultimately our soul has a relationship with God, so even doesn't matter what religion you're in, whatever. That's what we have to focus on, and people will understand that simple thing. That's how Krishna starts the Gita, right? Boyhood, youth, old age, change of body. The soul is the important thing. So like that we can give that some perspective on that to people. Definitely doesn't help them or us to really focus on the negative things that they're doing. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, very well. Virginia, you have anything you want to bring?
Well, I was going to suggest maybe asking Krishna or saying to Krishna, Krishna, please don't let me ever forget you.
Very well. See, she's a devotee. She's God conscious. She's like, just ask him. Perfect. The perfect answer. That's what they keep saying, Lord, don't forget me, please. And that's what Prabhupada said, right? We were saying before. When he said, I'll never fall down, and they said, why? Oh, because you're a paramount. So he said, no, not because of that. He said, because I'm always praying to Krishna. I'm always Krishna, Krishna, please. Don't let me. As well. Yeah. He said, you Westerners, you don't have any fear of illusion. You think this material world's a very nice place. He said, I have great fear. So I'm always praying to God, please protect me, please protect me. So you don't have the fear, so therefore, what to do? Krishna has to give us some experience, and then we fear. Yeah, actually. This is serious business.
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah.
We don't that like a person, we don't know what they're doing, so we obviously don't judge them. And on the surface, it may not be directly connected to Krishna, what they're doing. But if that activity supports other direct service and them remembering Krishna, obviously it's not grossly, you know.
You mean devotees? Like
Anybody.
somebody
Well,
on the path,
probably a
or just
devotee,
anybody?
A lot of us do all kinds of work, like
But even people, well, you're talking about devotees or other people?
just that general person who she
Yeah.
may have been thinking
Yeah.
about. They
But
feel-
even that you can appreciate that.
Exactly.
You know, and this is what I was
So there's
going to
direct
bring
and
out.
indirect.
Yeah, well, that's for devotees, but there's direct and indirect service. But even that, Krishna is saying there for us to appreciate other people. He's saying many places, right? I'm the ability in mankind. I'm the ability in people. People that have ability, we can see, oh, there's Krishna. He's the strength of the strong. We see somebody doing something really strong, we can see, oh, that strength is Krishna. So this is his prescription of how to see him in the world, right? 7th chapter, 10th chapter, some 18th chapter, I believe. So he gives all these things. I'm the light of the sun and the moon. I'm the strength of the strong, you know. I'm the ability of man. Among fishes, I'm the shark. So you see a shark, think, wow, that's Krishna. Among fishes, he's the shark. So he gives all those things of how to see him, right? Like you were saying, the strength of holding up the... So then he gives even more detail. Yeah. So that's another way he gives, right, of how to always think about him. So we have to have many different ways. We can think about him in the temple, the deity, right? And we can remember all day. Then sometimes during the day we might be out there working, doing something, and then we can think, you know, oh wow, this is a really strong person. Wow, he's the strength of the strong. He's the, you know, among women, he's fine speech. Among women, oh, that's Krishna. That's Krishna's potency. Right? Yes, sir? You want to say?
More than thinking, I think about thanking. Thanking Krishna rather than thinking a lot, because everywhere I walk about, I just feel that this is amazing. When I wake up in the morning, it's like, thank you, Krishna, for giving me another day to live.
Yes.
Things that we take for granted, for example, I can see, I can walk, I have 2 hands, 2 legs. I thank Krishna for that. I get my lunch, I get my dinner, get my prasadam. So just thanking in everything that I'm doing throughout the day makes me feel that, you know, I'm constantly doing my karmas. If something goes wrong, then also thanking Krishna that maybe my bad karmas are getting washed out by things that haven't gone right for me.
Very nice. Yes. Thank you. Anything else you want to say?
Also, if you get liberated to Krishna's Vrindavana or his planet, like you would be doing service there for Krishna. Like he'd be the center of the enjoyment, and you'd want to like please and serve Krishna. So I guess being in the mood of just service all the time, almost just like being in that mood and practicing it and just embodying it always just in service. And
thank you. That's so nice.
Yeah.
I was literally thinking about this today at the restaurant when I was serving out. I was thinking that this is so good for me. Practice to be in this position of serving people, that's our constitutional position, right? That's the position of our soul. So
and
that's such a nice point.
That's how we actually feel love, and that's how we develop our love for Krishna, which is like the goal of it all.
Thank you. Beautiful. Anything else? Do you want to say something? No? Do you want to say something? You don't have to. The mic is there. Can you give her the mic?
Am I audible? Yeah. Yeah. So, whenever I meditate, I just look at living things like humans. Then that makes me want to get into my internal subconscious mind rather than living outside, externally, because when I look at human beings and their sufferings, that makes me want to actually get into his consciousness, Krishna's consciousness.
Krishna's
Yeah.
consciousness.
So that makes me want to.
What do you mean, get into Krishna's consciousness?
Like looking at other human beings, I mean.
Yeah.
Because I look at him, I look at them and I'm like, nah, there's so much suffering, I cannot. So, yeah, that's it. That's all.
Yeah.
And
So-
gratitude, of course, as you said.
Yeah. So when you see the suffering of others, then you feel that impetus, like, I have to be Krishna conscious.
Yeah.
That I don't want to be there. I can feel like due to my previous karmas from previous life, okay, I have this, body and mind that I can think about Krishna, I can think about God, I can think about spiritual things, and I can see other people, even humans, what to speak of animals, that they're not able to. Right? Krishna says this in Gita actually, Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakamanam yadvandva mohani muktam bhajanti mam dridhavrata. That when we're a little bit free from these such bad karmas, then we can do devotional service, but when we have so many bad karmas, it's very difficult. So like that gives us an impetus, like we don't want to go back to that. We want to keep moving forward, right?
Yeah, but sometimes it's just the mind is just not focused. When you, let's say you do the job for like an hour, you try your best, but your mind is somewhere else. And then you just can't do anything but to, you're saying it, but you're not focusing on it. And it's written in the Gita, it is cheating when you're not focusing on him, when you're doing the japa. But it fits into your subconscious. It's, as you said.
Yeah. But the trying of Krishna appreciates that. One time, one devotee relates that he was reading the letters to Prabhupada, and he was reading the letter of this devotee, and the devotee was saying, Prabhupada, I have such problem, I following the principles, then I fall down and I take, intoxication or do something like that against the principles, and then again I give that up, and then I try again, but then again I fall down, but then I try again. And the devotee was reading this to Prabhupada, and he, in his mind, like we've been talking about, he was kind of a bit judgy in his mind. He was thinking, this devotee was falling down, or was going back and this and that. That's what he was thinking, right? As he's reading this letter to Prabhupada. And then he saw that Prabhupada, he was moved, maybe a tears in his eyes, I don't remember, but he was very moved, the devotee said. And Prabhupada said, just see how he's trying. Just see how he keeps trying, even though it's so difficult for him. Prabhupada appreciated that so much. This is coming from the West. This simple activity is just normal. This is normal. This is like how everybody lived. It's not like, when you come from India, you really can't understand. When you grow up in the West, what it's like. This is just normal. So for people that's just normal, for them to try, he so much appreciated. So we can see Prabhupada appreciated, Krishna is appreciating. So if we're trying to chant our japa and we're trying, like you said, that's bhakti. That's the bhakti. So, and the quality, everything increases as long as we're trying. That's what he's saying. Ananyas chintayantama. Just think about me. So if we're trying to chant your name, Lord, but I can't, still we're thinking about him. So that connection is there. So like that.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we'll stop there. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Govinda, what was your point? What was your question? That was the question.